We want to introduce to you a therapist that we are interviewing today who's been in the business about 12 years with Arizona Family Therapy Group, Mr. Garron Griffitts. He specializes in addiction and trauma, adolescence, relationships. He's a wonderful therapist, and we want to pick his brain on some of these topics. All right, so let's talk about, first of all, about anxiety. Talk to us a little bit about what is anxiety, how, and if you could add, how is it affecting teenagers right now?
I think a lot of teens are experiencing anxiety in their life right now, along with depression. So I'm going to kind of talk about anxiety and depression together because they often go hand in hand. And I really think, one, what is it? Kids are being anxious or having anxiety over basically everything that they can possibly get anxious over, whether that's social, family, education, all of that. But I think the underlying thing of a lot of adolescent anxiety and depression is really about all the pressure that they're under, and that really they're overwhelmed and exhausted. Some have even used the word crushing and pain, and the feeling that comes from all the outside pressures that they're experiencing. Again, a large part is in education, being pressured at a young age to know what degree to get in college, what they want to be when they grow up, social pressures, obviously, and social media plays such a huge role in that. How many likes they get on their post and how many followers that they have on their social media accounts. They're comparing everything with everybody else.
You mentioned the idea of social media and then the pressure to determine a career or pursuit of study at a very young age. Maybe there's others as well, but what do you think is the leading contributor to stress and anxiety in today's youth? Maybe in addition to those, or of those two, what is it about the pressure of choosing a career or choosing an educational path, or what is it about the number of likes they get? What is causing that need to do all those things, to know now and to have all those likes? What's driving all that?
It's a great question. I think it's different for all of them. I think they all could have a different motivating or driving force. One young man, a freshman, told me he was having anxiety over the degree and career idea because he was afraid he wasn't going to be successful in life. And again, this is a 14-year-old young man worrying about being successful 10 years from now, and just feeling an immense amount of pressure. I think with social media, it's about acceptance. Every kid wants to feel accepted and belong and fit into a group. And if everybody's talking about how many likes and followers they have, and they think they have less, they must be less than or not as good as another person or a group of kids. And then add other family pressures, sports, if they're involved, or any extracurricular activities of being the best, fear of failure, all of that and it could be coming from the parents, it could be coming from the teachers, from religious leaders, it could be coming from so many directions, and they just feel, my experience, completely and utterly overwhelmed.
Do you feel that we do that a whole lot more in this day and age than, say, when you were a child? Do you feel like parents and society pressures kids to make those decisions earlier and to put pressure on themselves, say in Little League, to go out there, you've got to be an all-star so you can get a college scholarship, versus, hey, go and have a fun time. If you want to lose, we don't care. We're going to go get some ice cream afterward at the game. Or do you feel society is putting more pressure on people?
I do. I use myself as an example a lot. I don't remember my teachers or school or parents putting any pressure on me what I needed to do and be when I grew up in high school. I didn't start thinking about that until I was in college. And I'm sure there were people of my generation that were feeling the pressure from their parents and school, but I do think it's different. I think kids are getting pressured all the way in, or all down in junior high. 8th and 7th grades, I'm hearing them talking about needing to know what they're going to major in, what they're going to be when they grow up, and they got to be thinking about that. So I think they're feeling that if they don't have these answers, then again, there's something wrong with them. They're less than and not as good as their peers who have it all worked out in their head.
And social media, when you say peers, social media is gonna give them that portal to look through to see how are their peers doing, and now they're going to interpret kind of where are they at on the scale of potential success based on that. So social media, would you say that's really contributing to the amount of stress, to the amount of anxiety or the depression that kids are feeling?
Oh yeah, I think so on so many levels, because it's real-time updates on everything. Everything they do is in real time. And if there's a lull or a lag in a friend's life or their life, then there's some sort of pressure there to know what's going on right now. Whereas again, when we were youth, there was none of that. That was a pressure that we as adults, parents and people who work with youth, whether in the education system or whatnot, we know nothing about that.